Hi students, I wanted to put up a little tutorial just covering some of the things that we are going to be assessed on Friday. So I'm going to put up a couple of problems and why don't you work them along with me. So for example, one of the things we've been talking about is changing our minus signs to plus and adding the opposite. So we're going to change our minus to plus, add the opposite of positive 20 is negative 20. Change the minus sign to plus, add the opposite, change the minus sign to plus, and add the opposite. So you end up with something that looks like that. And of course, a lot of times I'll put parentheses around it just to make it a little bit neat. Because in everything you do in algebra, you're going to be basically combining, which means adding positive and negative integers or variables. Okay, and if we have something that looks like one of the things that you know to do is you've got to always get your variable by itself. So the inverse operation here would be to add a negative 7 to both sides, makes it cancel, so n would equal negative 3. Alright, so we've got negative 19 equals x divided by 4. Now right here, that is division. So the inverse of division is multiplication. So we have to multiply both sides by 4. Of course, the 4's cancel. We have a positive and a negative, so you know your answer is going to be negative. And when we multiply negative 19 times 4, you get negative 76. Getting down to more complicated problems, we could have something like this. Of course, we have to distribute. Negative times negative is positive. Negative times a positive 5 is negative. Now we've got to combine our like terms. I'm going to keep my variable over here. So I'm going to do a negative 48 on both sides. And this is one area that students get confused. They don't know whether to divide by a positive 40 or a negative 40. You have to divide by the negative so that your x will not be negative. If you divided by a positive 40, your x would be negative, and then you'd have to divide by a negative 1. You don't want to have to do that. All right, and another one we want to practice. First, I'm going to change the minus to positive, add the opposite. So it's going to be 3 times x and 3 times negative 4. Now Now, I see some kids that want to start combining this 3x and this, but you can't do that because they're on the opposite side of this fabulous equal sign right there. But I can bring them over to one side, and I always choose the side that's going to leave me with a positive variable. So instead of taking a negative 3x on both sides that'll leave me a negative variable, I'm going to do a positive 7x on both sides so that I have a positive variable. All right, so be careful about that. The other thing I want to talk to you about for our quiz on Friday is our solutions. When you work out a problem, and you get a very specific answer, like x equals 2. That means that only 2, when substituted in for x, will work. So for example, let's just say we had 2 times x equals 4. We get x equals 2. If I plug in 3, does 2 times 3 equal 4? Heck no. If I plug in 4, does 2 times 4 equals 4? Heck no. So the only number that would work is 2. So that's a one solution answer. Only one. One solution. If I get down to a problem that is 12x equals 12x or 3 equals 3, anytime it's identical on both sides of our equal, then it's infinite solutions. That means any number can be substituted in. So if I substituted in 1 for x, does 12 times 1 equal 12 times 1? Yes. If I substituted in 2 for x, 12 times 2 equals 12 times 2? Yes. I think you get the point. Any number, even if it's a decimal, even if it's a fraction, if you plug it in, it's going to be equal. So that's your infinite solutions. And you know it's an infinite solution when you're on both sides of the equal sign, they're identical. Now down to the last type of solution. It's when you have something that is not true, like 5 equals 0. Not true. That means there's absolutely no solution. That one, you just look at it and say, that is not right. I don't know what's wrong, but that is not right. It never will be right. So no, 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 no. All right, I hope this helps. We're going to be reviewing for the quiz tomorrow in class, and I hope you have a great night.